Welcome to the Sales and Marketing Playbook Unleashed, the premier podcast for innovative growth strategies, hosted by two seasoned experts. Meet Evan Polin, the president of Polin Performance Group, a master in sales coaching with over 2 decades of experience. Evan is not just a consultant, he's a force in sales, focusing on mindset, planning, and skill development. He's also the co-author of Selling Professional Services the Sandler Way. Joining him is Craig Andrews, partner and CEO of Beholder Agency, an expert in growth marketing. With 20 years under his belt, Craig blends marketing creativity with strategy to propel businesses forward, making Beholder Agency a leader in effective marketing solutions. Together, Evan and Craig are here to share their wisdom on winning strategies, best practices, and transformative insights that will fuel your growth. Get ready to revolutionize your sales and marketing approach right here on the Sales and Marketing Playbook Unleashed.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sales and Marketing Playbook Unleashed. I'm Craig Andrews, and this is my partner in crime, Evan Polin. So I want you to go on a trip with me today. Okay, I want to go on a trip. I want you to close your eyes and imagine that we are hearing the ocean waves just splashing along the side, people walking by in swim trunks and swimming in pools, and beach balls are getting flying around. And you would ask me, what is the point of this trip, right? And part of the thing that we're going to talk about today is summer selling and summer marketing, right? So selling and marketing in the summer should be something that we're all doing, right? Is that one of your favorite things that you hear from salespeople in terms of their sales and marketing?
I wish that was one of my favorite things I heard. People, I think some people I talk to in sales, April, May start getting into summer mode. And probably first, love the summertime, love the beach, love vacation, love, it not being dark at 5:00 in the afternoon on the East Coast. Love everything about summer. One of my biggest pet peeves that I've heard from salespeople from the past 20 plus years is, geez, nobody's around in the summer. Things slow down in the summer. I can't sell in the summer. Yep. There's nothing going on.
Yep.
Craig, I've got a question for you.
Hit me.
How many of your prospects and clients are so successful that they are on vacation for 3 months straight, that they leave mid to late May, they don't get back until after Labor Day?
Yeah.
How many people that you sell to, how many people do you know in business that are gone for 3 months straight?
Not many at all, Evan. In fact, part of our dilemma is when they come back from that summer break, quote unquote, what ends up happening is they try to hurry up and rush something that should have already been set up and moving along the ways, and they expect magic to happen. So to answer your question very bluntly, very, very few, very, very few.
So I know a lot of people who go away for a week to 10 days, some that go away for 2 weeks. A couple, especially if you're dealing with people in Europe that may go on 3-week holidays.
Yep.
Nobody's going away for 8 to 10 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So if you are a sales professional, if you are a non-selling professional, an attorney, and someone who's responsible for building a book of business, somebody who's responsible for sales, get out of your head the excuse that nobody does business over the summer, that it's impossible to do business over the summer. I will tell you that me personally, some of my most successful months in my career have been in the summertime.
That's because everybody's sleeping and you're out there working.
But guess in the summertime, not too many professional associations have big conferences where people are going away.
Right.
People who are doing a lot of business travel tend not to be doing as much business travel over the summer.
Right.
Your chambers of commerce, your professional associations, they're not having their big official events, maybe just 1 or 2.
Yep.
Guess what? That leaves people for more free time to get together one-on-one. They're not out of the office as much. They're not working on as many big projects.
Yep.
And that is the ideal time to catch up with hard to catch up with people. Most of your competition is on their summer break, is on their summer vacation, because they have been telling themselves for years the story that nobody does business over the summer. And it's because they may not want to work as hard over the summer.
Yep.
So if you're out there hustling, you're out there reaching out. And today, one of the things we'll probably get into is summer prospecting. And for those of you where the weather's not nice year round, different things that you can do, different creative things that you can do to get in front of people in the summertime that you may not be able to do, other times of the year. So there is a ton of opportunity, but we need to retrain our brain.
Yep.
Rather than saying, nobody's around in the summer, I can't sell, I can't do business, I shouldn't spend money on marketing because nobody's going to hear the messaging anyway.
Which is completely wrong.
It's retraining your brain to go, summer is the greatest opportunity to go out there and develop my business. People are going to start looking at third quarter, fourth quarter, realize that they've got to do things to hit their numbers. Most of your competition isn't going to be out there. So if you're out there keeping up with your activity, reaching out to people, there's not going to be as much noise to cut through. And you can, quite frankly, make or break your year based on what you're doing in May, June, July, and August.
Well, what I'll tell you is that to double down on your statement there, right, is the summertime from a marketing perspective is a great time for planning, right? You hit it right on the head, right? Where a lot of times in those events that aren't happening, they're coming, right? So instead of giving yourself maybe 30 days, 2 weeks, 45 days to plan in a marketing perspective, use that time when everybody's kind of on vacation to set up the idea, the agenda, and have a conversation about how you want to move forward. A lot of times what happens from a marketing space as well is the fall is when they begin to introduce the new concepts, the new product, the new service, the new whatever, right? So that's a great chance to try to test it out, right? So part of the things that we're going to talk about here into the next section is some of the marketing strategies. From event marketing, seasonal campaigns, and influencers, right? So a lot of times when you're talking about those marketing strategies that's happening in the summer, those trade shows that you don't go to, but there's a lot of networking events, right? Is an idea, an opportunity to talk about what's happening or what's coming, just so that when they come back, they go, you know what, Evan, that thing we talked about at that mixer, tell me about that again. Because I remember you said something about that, right? That's usually how the conversation really pushes. But that's if you're not out there talking to people, if you're not out there giving that information to people, how would they know that exists? They would then have to start that train after they come back.
And the worst thing somebody can hear if you're in sales and marketing is, sorry, we just implemented XYZ, or sorry, we've already gone down a path. And guess what? If you're waiting until September to reach out with an idea that you'd like somebody to do in the fall, or you're reaching out with a new product, guess what? A lot of the time, you're already too late. Yep. They have made their decision. They have gone down their path. And, good luck. Maybe the excuse you'll make for yourself is, okay, well, in the new year, I'll reach out to them late in the year to see if they, and, people
already budgets are gone.
Business people get themselves out of jobs by continuing to push it to the next quarter, the next quarter, the next quarter. There is always going to be an excuse.
Yep. And I'll give you an example on top of that, right? So here's the phenomenon that we've all seen, but don't really pay too much attention to. When was the last time you were out of the department store?
Last time I ran into a department store? I was actually one of 5 people that was in a department store just last weekend.
Okay. Have you already started to see Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff?
Fortunately, not quite yet. I'm sure it's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, I've seen it already. I've already seen it, right? So again, they're trying to get ahead of what's coming several months from now, right? That's just the natural phenomenon. Or give it 2 more weeks. It's coming. Halloween stuff, easily.
Right. Well, we're getting to late July and back to school stuff's already almost out of the stores.
Correct. That's them jumping ahead and doing actual, quote unquote, in their version of sales off season to try to really push the agenda going forward. Right. So those are some examples, and that whether it be the new fragrances coming out, whether it be the new card model that's coming out, whatever the service is, there's always something to be talking about that's coming down the pipeline. Now, what I will say for our sales and marketing people in the audience, if you don't know what's coming down the pipe already, you're probably in trouble. So if you don't know what's coming to talk about what's coming, you need to give one of us a call because you're in trouble already. Right.
Right. That's the guy at the poker table who doesn't know who the sucker is at the table.
Right.
If you don't know who the sucker is at the table, you're the sucker at the table.
It's got to be you. It's got to be you. So are there other sales techniques that we can talk about for the summer? Maybe promotions, targeted advertising, anything of that fashion that comes to your mind?
Yeah. So for me, summertime is great for informal networking. Again, the chambers, the professional associations, they may have a big summer event, but they may not have a lot above and beyond that. For me, something that I've done, something I've suggested for clients, by the way, potential sponsor alert. If anybody from Topgolf is listening, we'd be happy to take you on as a sponsor.
I love Topgolf.
So, something I like to do, going to a Topgolf, going out to an outdoor driving range. I'll invite 2 or 3 clients. I'll ask them to invite 1 or 2 different people, or I'll go out with 1 or 2 strategic partners, ask them to invite 1 or 2 strategic partners, get 4, 5, 6 people together, uninterrupted time. People love leaving the office at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, on a nice summer day.
Yep.
Great way to get extra face time with people in a very informal setting. Great opportunity to build a relationship, to start a relationship. For those of you who are golfers, rather than filling up the entire foursome yourself, invite, one other good, strategic partner, one other good client, invite somebody that might be good to introduce that person to.
Yep.
Ask them to bring somebody else along. You've now got great uninterrupted time, great opportunity to build up relationships.
Yep.
I'll have clients who will go and, again, nice weather. So whether it's lunchtime in an outdoor patio, meeting somebody outdoors somewhere for drinks, again, the mood is a little bit lighter. Yes, people are on vacation, but not everybody's on vacation at the same time. Mm-hmm. Great way to get somebody out of the office, to get some time with them. And it's a great place to build relationships. For me personally, over the last 3 weeks, and again, it's summertime, and for me, doing sales coaching, those kinds of things, people aren't necessarily launching programs now, but I've signed 3 agreements in the last 3 weeks with people who have signed contracts, given me deposits. We're starting programs right after Labor Day. If I waited until Labor Day, now if those programs were to even start, they wouldn't happen until the very end of the year. And now we're talking about 2025.
Yep.
Out there talking to folks over the summer, and now things are up and running and ready to go come September. But I love that, going outdoors somewhere, going to a baseball game, and you and I were recently at a baseball game, with a couple other my clients, going to a Topgolf. Even if you're a larger company, another one of my clients is doing this. The person who runs the location and the salesperson, they're getting 2 bays. Each of them are going to be responsible for bringing 3, 4, 5 other people. There's going to be 10, 12 people out.
Yep.
They are going to get FaceTime with people. They're getting their clients to invite other people out. And they're going to build new relationships, solidify relationships they already have, which is just going to make business easier. I've got another client, again, taking advantage of the nice weather, did a client appreciation. They got about 12 pickleball courts. Had a whole bunch of people come out to play pickleball. Again, it was great to get everybody out, everybody in a social setting. They had clients bring other people who are now really good referrals and really good prospects. This is a financial services company that did this.
Yeah.
So there are lots of great things that, at least, we're in the Mid-Atlantic, we're in the Northeast, things that you can't do year round that you can take advantage of in the summer. How about from a marketing perspective?
So I'm going to piggyback on that, right? So I'm going to take that idea and I'm going to say one of the biggest things that I get a lot when people are talking to me about marketing is understanding that marketing is not just one solid service or one solid thing. So if I were to take that idea, I would say, okay, client, if you were in a situation and you were out there doing this Topgolf event, take a picture to post on social media, right? Now, everybody, they may not admit to it. I'll admit to it. I like seeing myself on camera. right? So if you're in a situation where I'm out there and you and I are at the Phillies game and I get a selfie of you and I watch the Phillies game and I tag you, you are more likely to retag it. That's social media, right? If you have those 2 to 3 bays and you guys switch and you get pictures with everybody per bay, that's social media. And now when you're tagging people and you're going, hey, having fun with my new friends, hitting golf balls off the range, and you're showing potential client, that's social media. That's the memorable stuff that marketing is made of. And that's really something that you want to add on top of it.
So, and Craig, quick question along those lines. I'm not a marketing expert. People who know me know my math isn't great.
Yeah.
But if 10 people are sharing something versus one person sharing something, is there more reach when 10 people share something versus when one person shares something?
I'm going to double down on you. Those 10 people, yes, it's more, but those 10 people have friends who share those things because they have a common bond. They know each other. And there's a good chance that the people that you brought know you and have now said, hey, that's my guy, Evan. And then it starts to bend and blow up. Then they start to hear, hey, I heard you do the Topgolf thing. You play golf? Yeah, why don't I invite you next week? That is the true social media. We just made it electronic. So from a marketing perspective, and that goes across industries, right? So it could be me, marketer, you, salesperson, another guy's a financial advisor, another person is a IT professional, right? And now all of a sudden you've combined people all together.
And by the way, how much does that cost when you utilize social media like that and share stuff out and get other people to share stuff out? How expensive is that for people who are on a budget?
I don't know. Let me grab my calculator here. When I add it together, it equals nothing. It's nothing. It costs you nothing other than getting out of your comfort zone, which goes back to our original theme here. Marketing and selling in the summer is getting out of your comfort zone. That's really what it comes down to. And when you're able to take these type of tips, and by the way, we're growing people. We're getting people who are loving our show. If you're not watching, if you're not listening on any of the newest ones we're on, which is Apple Podcast, I'm telling you, we got a lot of nuggets here. Get on, tell your friends, follow it, and I'll get into that details later. But the importance of understanding of continuing to work during the slow times is where the jewel is, ultimately. Anything else you want to cover? Different industries. What type of industries do you usually hear that summer is a slow time for?
It's really industry agnostic. It's really more the mindset.
Okay, I'm with you.
Of the professionals that I'm working with. So now, what I am willing to concede, sometimes things take a little bit longer. So if Bill's on vacation one week, Mary's on vacation the next week, somebody else is on vacation, something that may have just taken a week or two.
Yep.
May take 3 or 4 weeks to get done.
Yep.
But it's not going to happen.
Yeah. And I think that if you build the habit of making this a regular thing year after year, it can only get better, right? Again, I just want to remind you from a marketing perspective, I had just had this conversation with a client this week. Marketing is not something that's instantaneous. You have to build the habits of doing it regularly and consistently for it to work for you perfectly. So right now we're towards the end of July. This is not going to happen by the end of August, and all of a sudden your marketing is going to be amazing. You can begin the process, but it's very important to understand that marketing is about consistency. I'm sure you tell me, I'm not the sales expert. Sales is about consistency.
I was going to jump in and say the same thing. If somebody tells me, oh, my September, October, November, they just weren't great, sales are down, I'm going to go back and say, hey, Craig, what did your prospecting activity look like in June, July, and August? Because if you have a sales cycle that's 15 to 45 to 60 days, it's the stuff that you didn't do 60 days ago, which is the reason that you're not going to be successful today.
That's right.
You've got to keep consistency. You've got to do consistent behavior, consistent activity. If you're not doing that, it's not going to be a mystery why you're not getting the results that you want to get.
Yeah. And I would say as a tip here, Evan, what's important for the listeners to understand, listeners or viewers, is you have to be flexible. Not everything is not a home run, using our baseball summer analogy. Not everything's a home run. But remember, like our wonderful Phillies are doing right now, sometimes a base hit is a good move. Sometimes a base hit is a very pivotal move. And the same thing applies in the sales and marketing space. If I'm in a situation where I have this golf outing or this hitting golf balls, and I can get into a conversation, their network might be someone who needs me. Right? So that's a base hit. Just having a conversation is a base hit, because now at least I can go and spend tons of money and never get to that same interaction. But now with this type of effort, which costs no money, I've led myself into a space of exposure more potentially through social media, created a contact, which I can add to my CRM, been in a position where they all of a sudden recognize the brand name. And by the way, gosh darn it, out of this Saturday Night Live, gosh darn it, people like me.
So, and Craig, and again, I know you like sports, but you're not a baseball expert. So hopefully I won't throw you with this question.
Uh-huh.
If you never get up to the plate, what are your chances of getting a hit?
0. We're getting a lot of zeros in this episode, Evan.
Yes. So, the activity is getting the at-bats.
Yeah.
If you don't get the at-bats, if you don't put the effort in, then you've got 0 chance of getting on base, hitting a home run, scoring runs, whatever bad sports analogy you want to use.
That's correct.
So just keep that in mind when you're thinking, oh, geez, it's nice out. I don't really want to make any more calls. I really don't want to go to any more events.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to think is, okay, well, if I just make 3 or 4 or 5 more calls, if I just see if these guys want to go out and hit golf balls, grab a drink, if I just do a little bit more, what could that ultimately do to your results?
It could be a difference of a huge contract or a small one or none. And I think that you and I years ago went to a networking event, and somebody said, which I've always stuck to, is most people stop when they're just on the brink of success. And that's always stayed with me. And I love that quote. I don't know who said it, and I want to give credit to whoever said it, but that quote has always stuck with me. And I always have the vision of somebody who's doing all this grinding, and give up at just the wrong time. At just the wrong time, and then somebody swoops in and gets their work for them. Right. So that's an epiphany, or that's the epitome of summer selling and marketing. Right. You go and you do all this work in the first half of the year, and then you stop, just assuming it's going to pick up at the second half of the year.
Right. And Craig, again, just kind of another question for you.
Sure.
2 equal people, one selling 12 months a year, the other selling 9.5 months a year. Who's going to be more successful?
It's got to be the 12. They're consistent.
So again, just keep that in the back for those of you going, geez, I'm not sure. Geez, you're getting the excuses. The ones who continue to work, the ones who find creative ways, the ones who've got a strategy, those are the ones knocking it out of the park. When it comes to achieving their goals.
So awesome. So let me send a reminder. If you're listening, if you're watching, we are there at every portal you can possibly be at. We're now part of Apple Podcast. We're on Google Podcast. We're on Amazon. I think it's Amazon something or other. We're on every podcast possible. YouTube. We're on every podcast possible. So if you're wondering where you can find us, I'm going to pop this up. Sorry. We are at give me a second. We are at.
By the way, we're also taking applications for new producers. So any of you aspiring producers out there, please reach out. Sales and Marketing Playbook Unleashed.
And as he says that, I'm gonna pop that over his face anyway. But we're on everywhere. We're every portal that you can possibly want. And don't be afraid to subscribe. Don't be afraid to talk to us and ask us questions. We're going to be beginning a series here where we're going to start to bring on others other than Evans and my beautiful face. So if you have any questions or any topics you want to cover, we're here and available. I'm Craig Andrews. This is Evan Polin, and we look forward to hearing from you guys, seeing you guys next time. There's that producer part again. Oh my goodness. Now we're out.
Thank you for joining us on this exhilarating journey through the world of sales and marketing. Remember, the playbook is in your hands and the possibilities are limitless. Keep exploring, experimenting, and innovating, and watch as your business reaches unprecedented levels of success. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sales and Marketing Playbook Unleashed on all major podcast platforms, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn for even more exclusive content. Until next time, keep hustling and keep winning.